Today we're checking out the Bad Cat Cub 40R USA Player Series. This is a super versatile amp. It's got two EL34s, the option to switch between a 12AX7 and an EF86 preamp tube for your main position. It's got reverb and a lot of tonal options here to allow you to dial in any great tone for any guitar. So basically here you got your preamp volume, which will determine how gritty things can get. So you can juice this up and back off the master if you want to get more gain. Or if you want to clean it up, you just bring this down and turn up the master. Super versatile if we're going from, nice mid-gain crunch all the way up to all the way down to just super sparkling clean. And then it's got this preamp switch that switches it from the 12AX7 to the EF86, which gives it a lot more kind of bite and gain. It feels super responsive. So like this is you're getting two amps in one here basically, because you're getting completely different responses. You go from a cleaner feel to a more pushed feel, and one isn't better than the other. It just depends on what you're looking for in the guitar that you're playing. Since I'm playing a Strat, having a little extra juice in the amp isn't bad, but can't knock either setting on the thing. So you got this bass knob here, which is very responsive. You can really thin things out if you want. Just warms it up as you turn it up, so there's always a sweet spot on the bass. And then the treble is the same thing. So the way this works is you have a treble knob and then you have a cut knob. The cut rounds out some of the extreme top end, and the treble kind of decides how much point you're going to have on the sound. So basically you can turn up the treble, which makes things a little bright. Back off the cut and you hear that high end go away. So the amp doesn't have a mid-range control because theoretically the amp's voiced so well that you don't need it. You can basically just go between the treble and the cut to shape the mid-range depending on your guitar. I usually find on an amp like this, the treble's usually good around noon, 1 o'clock, but again, you can do anything you want with it, but I generally find you go here and you find a sweet spot with the cut. The more you do the cut, you are going to lose some openness of the sound, but there's always a way to get it to where it's still super clear, but doesn't have any of those kind of fizzy high frequencies that can be annoying, in a live scenario or a studio situation. So, this should be a pretty good setting right here. But let's say you want to thin it out a little bit, but you don't want to have it be annoying. You can just turn up the cut, make it pointier with the treble. If you back that off, you can get it to be super bluesy while still being really open. So super versatile. If you got a guitar with different levels of brightness or different mid-range points, these two knobs right here, you can pretty much just even that out, and it makes it a super versatile amp. The other thing about the amp that is crazy is this fat switch. So not unlike what happened when I switched to the EF86, the fat switch just turns it into another level of beast. So I'll play a chord here without it. Turn on that fat switch. So the sustain just goes crazy. Obviously it has a little more gain, but you just back off the preamp if you're going to use the fat switch. Thing just sustains forever. So it's really, the fat switch is really great. The fat switch also makes the 12AX7 channel sound, a lot better. Let's put this over here. Without the fat switch, again, you're going to miss it at first. But you can compensate with the gain and it gets it closer, but they aren't the same. Like there's a different texture and feel to the fat switch that I find to be really desirable, but again, with a different guitar or a different reason, you might not need it all the time because this sounds really nice too. and they might respond to your boost pedal or your delay differently. There's just no way to know until you have it. But the fact that you have this option, which most amps, I've never played another amp that had an EF86 12AX7 option, and maybe more people need to be doing that because obviously it's just awesome sounding. And then you get that fat switch in there. And the guitar just gives it up, so that's great. In addition to that, it's got a really nice reverb. And the reverb just can go from super subtle almost don't notice it, but it just makes everything a little softer and a little nicer, gives it a nice glow, to full on letting the world know that you're a reverb guy. And you can go even more if you want to get real crazy. That's a lovely reverb sound. So obviously plenty of people have like reverb pedals, but it's never going to sound the same as if you put it in the amp. And again, even if you just went with a conservative setting on this, it kind of just makes the amp sound nicer. You don't really even hear it till you stop, but it just makes it sound a little nicer when you play. So yeah, that's basically the kind of the way the clean works. If you really want to drive this thing, all you got to do, back off the master, crank up the preamp. You got to dial in your cut and your treble and all that to be right. I generally find you'll get a little more gain with the EF86 channel and the fat boosting gauge because they sort of increase things. So if you're going to kind of push the amp to its limit, and again, this is a single coil, so if you hear it with a hotter output pickup, you're going to get more gain. But this should sound pretty good. Get a little brighter, a little less cut to open that up. I can go even a little bit clearer. It's such a smooth amp that you don't have to cut that much if you're pushing the EF86 and the fat. You don't even have to cut that much. That's with the reverb on, which you don't always play rock music with reverb, but it wasn't bothering me. So the reverb has a nice organic quality where maybe you hear it more when it's done, or you hear it more when it's clean, but it's not distractingly wet. Like you could play rhythm chords with it up pretty high. It seems like a lot when it ends, but while you're playing, it's not even, it's not even that over the top. So just a little bit of it's pretty nice all the time, but sounds great without it too, super tight. But I do kind of miss it, just a little bit. It's just so spanky. If you dial in that cut right and you get the gain all the way up and the super responsive of going with the 2 red channels, it's just, and if that's too crispy for you, look at this. Already warmer down here. Now that's a little dull for my taste, but right in here, it's whatever your guitar does, whatever your cabinet does, this thing can tame it with just really the balancing of these couple knobs. So you could even go heavy on the cut and do less bass and a little more treble, and you're going to get a different kind of mid-range presentation. That's, again, why amps like this don't even need a mid-range knob. It's just all handled in the balance of these. Sounds like I turned the mid-range up, but all I did was cut the high end, cut the bass, and then boost kind of the focal point of the treble. So you can get a nice mid-rangey sound. You get a really smooth sound, less bass, or you can go back again more like where I was going more my traditional kind of setting and just get a big full range, clear, fat sound. Yeah, I mean, there's really not, I mean, you'd have to try pretty hard to get a bad sound out of this thing. I had never played this amp before until today, and I got a lot of really nice amps, and this thing's just got the magic. You just, I mean, if you can't make this thing sound good, I don't know what to tell you, because it's just got too many tonal options and too much flexibility, and you can just, I mean, look, I'm just turn a couple knobs, I didn't play. Sounds like magic. So that's what you want an amp to do. You just want an amp to be able to plug in, dial it in real quick for whatever guitar you're using, and know that your sound's going to be good, and the Cub 40R definitely does that. I'm super impressed. This is the first Bad Cat amp I've ever personally played, and I'm kind of excited to hear more after playing this one. So, sounds great.